again, everybody. This is Gamecock Central Radio. Emerson Phillips with Gamecock legend Kip Bouknight. Kip, the winner of the 1999 Golden Spikes Award as the top amateur baseball player in the country. He's now doing color commentary on the SEC Network, and he joins us all season long here on Gamecock Central Radio to talk Gamecock baseball. Kip, the Gamecocks lost to Furman 6-4 on Tuesday night, and Carolina's now lost 2 in a row going into the Clemson series.
Yeah, certainly not ideal. You don't want to lose to any of your in-state teams in Charleston Southern and Furman, respectively, but their hitters are just a little off balance. I'm not too concerned about it, to be honest with you, Emerson. They did not play their best baseball, but you have to give credit to Charleston Southern and Furman. They went out and pitched what I honestly believe was below hitter speed. They're used to, and you look at the arms South Carolina has. So, I mean, think about the hitters they've been facing this fall and this spring. They've been facing guys that are throwing, 88 to 96 miles an hour, and the guys that were throwing on Sunday for Charleston Southern and Tuesday for Furman, they were both 82, 86. But they had pitchability. They mixed and matched. They cut it. They sank it. They jumped over curveballs, and they pitched, behind in the count sometimes with off speed. And for whatever reason, the South Carolina hitters just could not get enough going. They had a couple tough breaks. Several balls hit really, really hard that just went right at guys. One actually ended up hitting the pitcher in the shin and ricocheting off to the third baseman. It would have really started and I think united a Carolina comeback. But you're going to have breaks throughout the season. You got to make your own breaks, and they've got to come out and certainly got their hands full against Clemson starting tomorrow night. But I look for them to rebound. I look for it to be a packed house at Founders Park and certainly a loud crowd. And, this team, I think, has already shown after losing the very first game of the season against VMI, they certainly are able to bounce back. And they're well coached. They're going to be ready. And I look for it to be a good series.
In the Furman game on Tuesday night, Carolina scored a run in the first, Furman with 2 in the top of the second, and then Madison Stokes, who was returning from injury, hit a solo home run in the bottom of the third to tie it at 2. But Furman got a 3-run seventh. Carlos Cortez with a 2-run shot in the bottom of the eighth to cut it to 5-4. And Furman added an insurance run in the ninth. Logan Chapman got the start for the Gamecocks, worked 4 innings. Gave up 3 hits and 2 runs, struck out 3, and it was Gamecock reliever Carmen Majinski taking the loss. 2 1/3 innings, 1 hit, 2 runs, and 3 strikeouts. So the Gamecocks are now 6-3, and we turn our attention to the Clemson series, which will get underway 7 o'clock first pitch at Founders Park in Columbia on Friday night. That'll be on the SEC Network, and it'll be Birch Antley and Kip Bouknight, the broadcasters or the announcers for that game. So, Kip, you're going to work TV on Friday night, and then you've got radio on Saturday for the game in Fluor Field. That'll be a 3 o'clock first pitch in Greenville. And then Sunday's game will be on the ACC Network. That'll be a 2 o'clock start at Doug Kingsmore in Clemson. So let's talk about the series a little bit here, Kip. Clemson coming in red hot. They're 8-0, and everything's going their way right now. They've created their own breaks.
Yeah, Clemson's obviously a good team. They've got great talent and certainly a wonderful coach and head coach Monty Lee. So they've certainly had Gamecocks' number here in the last several years as far as the rivalry goes. And the Gamecocks are going to have to play very well. I mean, I think, again, it's really kind of like a Southeastern Conference series, really. I mean, most anybody you play in the SEC, you're going to have to play complete baseball to try to win 2 out of 3. So big game for the Gamecocks Friday night. Adam Hill coming off an amazing start where he had 7 no-hit innings and 14 strikeouts, a new Founders Park record. Certainly think he'll be a key to the Gamecocks' success and getting started early and just trying to establish the strike zone and work quick and try to get the Clemson hitters to put the ball in play rather quickly instead of running 2-2 and 3-2 counts a lot, as sometimes Adam Hill can tend to do. So he's just got to trust his stuff and go right after these guys. I think the pitching staff as a whole has been very, very impressive so far, and they've trusted their stuff, and they're going after hitters, and they got to continue to do that, even though they're not facing a Charleston Southern or a VMI or a Winthrop or Furman. They've got to trust their stuff and use it and get into pitchers' counts, because if they pitch timid, and a team like Clemson could certainly do a good bit of damage against them. So big key for them, I think, is just to really go out and trust their stuff and go right after them. And I think the hitting I think we'll see a little bit better hitting than we saw the last 2 games, because I think Clemson's going to certainly be bringing guys out there that'll be throwing what South Carolina is normally accustomed to seeing, 88 to 95 mile-an-hour fastballs.
Clemson comes in ranked as high as number 14 in the country. They swept William and Mary to open the year. They got a midweek win over Furman. And then last weekend they hosted nationally ranked Dallas Baptist and beat them 3 straight, 12-1, 9-1, and 3-2. And then Clemson with a Tuesday night victory this week over Winthrop. Kip, that was a game that they trailed 8-4 in the 6th inning, I believe it was, and they came back to win that game in 10 innings. They got a walk-off game-winning single from Kyle Wilkie to beat Winthrop. It was 9-8 in 10 innings. So the Tigers, again, doing everything right now, and they've got things going their way coming into this huge series with the Gamecocks. Talk about Clemson at this point, Kip. You mentioned Monty Lee, who was on the Gamecock staff for a number of years and obviously was the head coach at the College of Charleston. Gamecock fans very familiar with Monty Lee.
Yeah, Monty Lee has certainly reloaded that Clemson program. I knew time he went to Clemson, that would be a tough one for the Gamecocks. Monty Lee's a dear friend of mine and an outstanding coach, and I do think he'll certainly do well. And he's got Clemson now playing a lot differently than we saw in the Jack Leggett era when South Carolina kind of had their number under Ray Tanner's era. And Clemson's now playing with a chip on their shoulder and playing a little bit hungry and getting after it a little bit. So I certainly think it's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be a very, very tough series for South Carolina. And I think it's important for the crowd. Certainly could make a difference at Founders Park on Friday night. And hopefully the Gamecock fans are making their trip up to Greenville as well. So should be a great series. Hopefully the weather holds this weekend, and just an exciting time. You got two really, really good programs in South Carolina going at each other in Clemson and South Carolina. And I think over the last 5 to 8 years, this rivalry has really gained a ton of national attention. So very, very exciting time. I think hopefully the fans will come out and support the Gamecocks on Friday night, and they certainly need it. This is a team that I do believe will be fun to watch and can be a very, very emotional team. They're certainly hungry. I do believe they're very, very well coached. I don't think the last 2 games for a minute would bother me. It doesn't have any concern for me moving forward. I think again they just kind of ran into a buzzsaw and weren't able to make the adjustments, and quite frankly just did not produce when they had runners in score position a couple times. I mean, I think they had second and third, nobody out, and only got 1 run in. And when it could have easily been a sac fly or a ground ball to shortstop, and they could have manufactured 2 runs there, instead they only got 1. So those things add up, and Coach Kingston, I'm sure, is working with the guys in the cage and working on everything they can to get better. And that's the one thing you know about this team is they're going to be well prepared, and they're going to play their hearts out and do everything they can for a Gamecock victory.
Kip, a lot of folks, particularly in our state, feel like the South Carolina-Clemson baseball rivalry is the best in the country. And new Gamecock head coach Mark Kingston's got 9 games under his belt right now, but you sense that, this weekend he's really going to get indoctrinated into what baseball, college baseball in this state is all about, first time facing Clemson.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I think that maybe when I was playing in school, we thought it was the greatest rivalry in college baseball. But now with the national attention, obviously the 2 national championships, you look at now what Clemson's able to do with Monty Lee as their coach. Obviously, Jack Leggett had a great career as well at Clemson. 2 powerhouse teams in the Southeastern Conference and the Atlantic Coast Conference. Doesn't get much better than this, if you ask me, Emerson. I think, again, Mark Kingston has an opportunity this weekend to, if he has not done it already, I think he's got a big opportunity to win a ton of Gamecock fans over. He certainly already won me over, and I have full support of him and his coaching staff. And what Skylar Meade has been able to do with the pitching staff so far this year has been incredible, outstanding, just adjustments, in my opinion, of what they've made from one year to the next. And really, really fun brand of baseball to watch. He's not going to be a guy that's butting in the 2nd inning. He's given these guys 3-0 green lights on certain situations when they show that they've got good discipline at the plate, and just a lot of exciting things, in my opinion, to be a lot of things to be excited about, in my opinion. So, a 2 out of 3 weekend for the Gamecocks, I think, would be an amazing feat. And it all starts tomorrow night at Founders Park.
A little more information on Clemson here. Robert Jolly leads the Tigers with a .440 batting average. Chris Williams has 15 RBIs and 13 runs scored. And Drew Wharton leads the Tigers with 4 home runs so far on this new season. Give you the pitching matchups here. It'll be Adam Hill for the Gamecocks, junior right-hander, 1-1 with a 5.73 ERA. But Kip mentioned coming off that 7-inning no-hit performance last week, and he is the reigning SEC pitcher of the week. And his counterpart for the Tigers will be Jacob Hennessy, sophomore left-hander, 1-0 with a 2.45 ERA. And then on Saturday in Greenville, it'll be Cody Morris for the Gamecocks, sophomore right-hander, 2-0 with a 3.38 earned run average. And Brooks Crawford, junior right-hander for Clemson, 1-0 with a 2.0 ERA. Gamecock's Sunday starter to be announced, Kip, and we believe it'll be Jake Higginbotham for the Tigers. He's been their Sunday starter so far, sophomore lefty with a 2-0 record and a 0.73 ERA. He's got 10 strikeouts and 12 1/3 innings pitched so far this year. So we think it's going to be Higginbotham for the Tigers on Sunday, but we don't yet know who it'll be for South Carolina.
Yeah, I think that's I certainly don't know this, but if it's my guess, I got a feeling maybe they're kind of holding that spot in case John Gilreath, a young freshman that should be a senior in high school, if he doesn't pitch on Friday or Saturday, I got a feeling you may see him as the Sunday starter. I think you could start him on Sundays, and heck, the young man might be a freshman All-American or an All-American and win 10 to 15 games. He's got amazing pitchability. His poise on the mound is outstanding. He's not afraid of anybody. His thing is he's just got to trust his stuff that it's plenty good enough to get even Clemson out or even whoever he may face. He's got to keep doing what he's been doing out there, and it's going to be tough not to use him Friday or Saturday, but if the Gamecock bats can come to life, or back to life, I should say, and they pitch really well, and they not a situation where they need him. I think if they can hold him off and pitch him on Sunday, I think that's what you'll see. He's just been outstanding. I mean, for a guy that should be a senior in high school, showing the poise that he has shown is pretty remarkable.
John Gilreath, the freshman from Northwestern High School in Rock Hill, is one of 4 pitchers in the SEC with an ERA of 0.00. So we'll see if he gets a start on Sunday. One other item, one note on the Friday night game in Columbia at Founders Park. Fan note here, the shuttle from the Colonial Life Arena will not run for the Clemson game on Friday due to the high school basketball championships at the CLA. So the only shuttle that will be running on Friday will be Key Road. So please make a note and plan accordingly. 7 o'clock first pitch Friday at Founders Park. 3 o'clock start Saturday at Fluor Field in Greenville. And a 2 o'clock first pitch Sunday in Clemson. Kip, TV for you tomorrow night and radio on Saturday. Your first radio game Saturday. Should be fun.
Yeah, excited about the radio. I think I'll get to say we and us and root for the Gamecocks a little bit. It's the only difficult thing, I think, on the SEC network is I've caught myself saying we and us a couple times. So they've slapped me on my hand, but I definitely don't want to do that tomorrow night against Clemson. They will fire me. But I've enjoyed it. It's been great. I'm still certainly taking notes and learning as I go and doing everything I can, listening to all the criticism that anyone will gladly give me, which folks will gladly hand out criticism these days. That's one good thing. So, but I welcome that. I know I'm certainly not a professional at it, and I want to get better and do everything I can to make it an enjoyable experience for those watching the game. But looking forward to it. This is just a great time. Always excited for South Carolina-Clemson in baseball.
Kip, you working with Tommy Moody on the radio Saturday?
Yeah, Tommy Moody. Derek Scott's got basketball, so it'll be Tommy and I. And excited to work with Tommy. I've spent a couple innings with him before on air, but never had a whole full 9 innings. So I'll do everything I can to keep up with him and not make him look too bad. I hope I end up calling a good game with him. I know he'll do his job. He's always great. So I'm excited about working with him. Gamecocks
and Tigers meeting for the 316th time with this 3-game series getting underway on Friday night. So Kip Bouknight, my partner here on Gamecock Central Radio. Kip, we look forward to following you on TV and on the radio this weekend. Obviously, a lot of folks listening will be at one or more of the games this weekend. A lot of Gamecock fans will be headed up to Greenville, and the Gamecocks will also have a very strong fan following up in Clemson on Sunday. So it's an awful lot of fun for baseball fans in our state. Huge rivalry renewed this weekend. Thank you, Kip.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Go Gamecocks.
All right, that's Kip Bouknight, and I'm Emerson Phillips, and this is Gamecock Central Radio. We'll come back next week and recap the Clemson series here on GCR. Thanks for joining us.